So I'm gonna make more mushrooms made out of paint, and I'm just gonna show you what it looks like. I got these trays from IKEA, and they're only $1 each. So this is where all my mushrooms live while they dry out. These mushrooms are already dry, so I'm gonna peel one off. Look at this little, he looks like a little gnome. Someone said that I should make little gnomes to live with these mushrooms. So these mushrooms, I'll just leave them right here. And I'm gonna sculpt out of paint. And I'm using this brand called Gaffrey Art Material. It's really nice. It's very, it actually holds stiff peaks. So what I'm doing right now, I'm gonna refill my piping bag with more of this. The color is cadmium red light. So this is my piping tip. I'm treating it just like frosting, except I can sculpt with it and it's paint. I'm gonna open this up. I'm just gonna feed the bag with more red paint. I like using a piping bag and with a piping tip nozzle, because I did it before with just the bag and I cut a hole in it, but I didn't like how uneven the paint came out, and I want it to be a little bit more uniform, especially when I'm making these little mushrooms. What did I do today? I'm hanging out with my client's dog right now. I mentioned this in a previous video, but I have a personal training business and I've had it for almost 7 years. And I've been a personal trainer for over 8 years. Okay, so this is the bag. And I'm just gonna squeeze all this red paint into it. So I'm hanging out with my client's dog. Jackie, you want to say hi? She's like, no, I'm tired. You wore me out. We went to the beach. I walked her for an hour and a half, and she's dead. Okay. Trying to get as much paint in here as possible. My mom said I should really use a mask while I'm playing with paint. And low-key, like when I'm painting, I'm like, these fumes are really getting to me. So my mom's right, I guess. I don't know, I'll be fine, right? So I'm just using the edge of the table to work all this paint out so I don't waste a drop. I'm squeezing everything in here. I was going to do this before the live, but I don't know. I didn't want to. Okay. So all this paint is in this bag. And I'm going to twist it tight. Put this little rubber band thingy on. And I'm going to start sculpting my mushroom caps. I'm just going to work with mushroom caps today because maybe I'll show you how I pipe out the little stems or the little stalks. So the stalks that you see here. But I'm going to take a piping tip. Where'd my piping tip go? Piping tip makes it so much easier. Oh, there it is. So here's my piping tip. It's like a little stand that I can easily place like my little plastic transfer sheets onto as I sculpt. So I'm just going to put on a little bit of paint here to act as the paste for my transfer sheet. And then I always get so nervous whenever I do this part. So I'm just going to make like a dome, and I'm going to swirl the dome on itself, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to, the mushrooms are hollow. The mushroom caps are hollow. So if you can see here, so I'm going to squeeze out the paint and I'm going to make a circle like this, and it's eventually going to create a structure. It farted like this, and it's going to turn into a cone. I'm going to show it to YouTube, and I'm going to show you. So it's going to turn into that. But wait, there's more. I'm going to sculpt this so that it's a smooth surface. Where'd my knife go? I'm going to use one of these knives. So I'll just use a palette knife, and I'm just going to smooth out the surface so that it doesn't show any of the coils. Doesn't show any of the coils or the ridges. Because one of my comments on YouTube was, how'd you make them so cone shaped? This is exactly how I do it. It's basically because the structure gets smoothed out like that. Boop. And then the white part, this is how I do the white part. I get my white paint. It's the same brand, so it's Gaffrey art material. Good Lord, I'm going to set this down. You know, I'm just going to poke a hole in here. Hope for the best. So I'm going to get some white paint. I'm just going to glob some onto the tray. I had an intrusive thought just now. I was just going to bite this open, but I was like, I don't think that's safe. So I'm going to take a little bit of white on the tip like this, and I'm just going to apply it right on the mushroom like that. And I basically apply a bunch of irregular white spots onto the mushroom. Just so it doesn't look so uniform, and it kind of gives it a feel of like it's more organic, like it grows in nature. It's not completely perfect. It's not engineered, even though I'm technically modifying it. Genetically modified mushroom. It's not genetically modified. What do people talk about on lives? I don't know. Talk about how I'm watching this dog. Her name is Jackie. She's a little anxious, and she wants to interact with dogs, but it can come off as like threatening, I guess, in a way. And I'm babysitting her just for 8 hours today. And while we were at the beach, like every single dog that we came across, she was like, like she was so excited. And I was like, I'm sorry. She's just excited, and she's just learning to interact. And it's just like people. It's just like life, I guess. Okay, this is my mushroom. That's my mushroom cap. Very simple. So once the mushroom cap is done, I just lay it on this little, a bigger piece of transfer sheet, and I repeat this process over and over again. So I'm just going to keep going. Keep going. I'll probably make a smaller batch of mushrooms moving forward, because my other batch before this, they were all large mushrooms, and it kind of took a while. And it's tedious work, but it's so satisfying to see the end result. And the drying process, I would say, takes around a day. No, yeah, takes around a day if you put a fan on it. What I want to okay, you know what I want to talk about? The fitness industry. I know this is art, but one of the reasons why I shifted to doing art as my content, because I used to do more wellness and fitness stuff, and I just got tired of it. And also, it's a very I hate using the word toxic, but just to relate to people or like relate to the internet lingo that's been popular, it can be a very toxic atmosphere because you could be out here trying to educate people, and then it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Um, you're always gonna um, be seen as not good enough by other people, which is, it's the nature of the internet, but I feel like it's even more so with the fitness industry, and I see it within the industry, having been in business for over 7 years. It gets tiring, and that's why I shifted to doing art, because I feel like it's just been an overall um more positive outcome every time I post. It's overwhelmingly more positive when it comes to the comments, and obviously, like, being human, I appreciate that a lot more. Um and I feel like I can provide more value in that way. I feel like it's more entertaining. I can connect better. And with fitness, I know I train clients for a living, but I think that's as far as I want to take it when it comes to um influencing. That word's so overused. But when it comes to helping people out with their fitness, because I've definitely gotten comments like, "You're too fat," or "Where are your muscles?" Or, it's like it's always either or. You're never gonna be just perfect. And also take it with a grain of salt, because these people, when they leave bad comments, they probably forget about it later on in the day, and you're ruminating on it. And it's not good. It's not good for your spirit. Okay, finished my second dome, my second mushroom cap. These are so much faster than when I first started. Practice makes perfect. But again, okay, going back to the whole shifting to art from fitness. And also, what I love about art is, I think maybe because I love art, and it's something that my loved ones and friends have always encouraged me to keep pursuing, but I never thought I'd get any financial gain out of it, which is not the best way to think. I think you can have both in life. You can enjoy your career and also have a fruitful career. You don't have to be broke doing it. And I mentioned that in my most recent YouTube upload, where I was painting a cake. I was talking about my journey, about how how it was after college, because I didn't know what I wanted out of college. Like, I was always so anxious that my peers already knew what they were going to do. They were already in pre-med. They were on track to become lawyers, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, none of this sounds appealing to me. And I tried out the mechanical engineering route in college, and then halfway through it was like, this is depressing. And yeah, through trying out so many different jobs, I ended up in a few sales jobs, and then I ended up being a trainer at a big box gym. And I didn't see myself being a trainer, but what I did see was I wanted a life that wasn't typical. Like, the work schedule wasn't typical. I didn't want to sit in a place 9 to 5, dreading every Monday and waiting for the weekend to come all the time. And eventually I was able to create the life that I live now. I train multiple clients at a time. It took work to get here, and a lot of faith, like leaning into faith, that everything's going to be all right. Here's my other mushroom. I think that's all it is. Everything, it doesn't even have to be business. Like life itself is just one big act of faith, and you just try to see if something works, and if it doesn't work, then you try it out a different way. But I think one of the most important lessons I learned from being in the fitness industry, and also just coming across a lot of really good-hearted people who are financially well, they have good relationships, they enjoy their career, blah blah blah. They all say the same thing. They all say just focus on how you want to live and then figure out how to get there, instead of telling yourself, I want to be a doctor or I want to be a lawyer. Like, why do you want to be a doctor or a lawyer? Is it to make a difference? Is it because of the money? Also, look at their life as a whole. Is it the schedule that you want? And that was not what I wanted. And I'm not ragging on doctors or lawyers. I know plenty of them in that industry, and they do great work. And I think they're built for it, but I don't think I'm built for it. Maybe I'm just making myself sound really lazy. But yeah, this is why I love art. And when I first started feeling that art was making my life better was when I started getting less anxiety, like last year, because I threw out a lot of my art supplies, which is kind of sad because I grew up loving art and I was always encouraged to do art. But you know, it's like that hustle culture. If it doesn't make you any money, like, don't do it. So I thought to myself, art doesn't make me money, so I'm just going to abandon it. But it makes me really happy, which is not the best way to go about things in life. I think that's a recipe for burnout and living a very unfulfilled life. And I do firmly believe that when you feel more fulfilled, you're happier, you're living with less anxiety, you make better decisions, you have more confidence in yourself, and you just attract better opportunities, which will positively impact your financial situation. So I started making that connection of, okay, art does make a positive financial impact on my life. And I was lucky enough to sell several pieces during the winter, about like just pieces that I've always had in my home, pieces that I painted for fun. And like, that's a cool part about it, is it's something that I already do and that I enjoy. And some people enjoyed my work and they collected my art. So that's really awesome. And what would have happened if I continued down this path of, I'm just going to abandon art, and all the art supplies I threw away, I'm just going to forget about them. I wouldn't even bother about buying new art supplies because art's over for me. I would be in a completely different place than I'm in right now, and I don't think I would have liked it. I think I would have been more anxious, which is funny because with the rise of like self-care talks and social media, people talking about mental health, I think a lot of us went years with undiagnosed anxiety. And it's just because we were just taught to just suck it up and just keep working. But you're not addressing the problem. I'm on my 5th mushroom. Dang, I'm moving so much faster than I did before. Feels easier. It's like with every spot I put in my mushrooms, I'm always like judging him, like, you're an ugly spot. But then I feel bad because the spot's doing his best. Um, but yes, I think art is one of my saving graces, and I think a lot of people have their own art that they could fall back onto, like cooking, reading, um, a sport that they love to play. Anything that doesn't involve work and it makes you fuel your creativity. I think that's so important. And I think that's why I love making these pieces, like these little mushroom pieces. I created a piece. I don't know if you can see it in the background right there. Wait, TikTok can't see it. But this in the background, I'm going to rotate you this way, TikTok. This right there in the background. That's like my little grassy patch with all my mushrooms, and they just look so peaceful. And I like making pieces that look peaceful because we need a little bit more peace, okay? I think everyone needs to chill out. I need to chill out. Fun fact, I didn't realize that I had anxiety before. Obviously, I talked about this, but I never knew that I had a panic attack before until like years later in the future. I was in I was in a thrift store and I was with a friend and she was like, "Oh, do you have your coupon?" Because we had gone to that thrift store before. And this was around it was in college and obviously money was like tighter back then. So I tried looking for my coupon in my purse and I was looking in the place where it should have been and it wasn't there. And I was like, it's not here. It's not here. So my mind started racing and I was like physiologically, so everything that my body was doing was all the signs of an incoming panic attack. So I started getting short of breath and then I just out of nowhere I was on the ground. It's I don't know. I'm laughing because I think this is my coping mechanism. Like I like laughing. I like laughing when I talk about serious things, I guess. But I was on the ground. I was like, "What happened?" Like I just saw white. I didn't see anything, and my breathing was out of control. And my friend was like, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I think this is normal." It's not normal, or I guess it's it's more normal or more what's the word I'm thinking of? More frequent than what people think. And later on, I was like, "Oh, that was a panic attack," and I didn't realize how much I bottled in back then. Like, I didn't take care of myself mentally. I took on there was one point in college where I had 3 jobs at the same time because I was worried about making rent. I didn't wanna take out extra loans, because those private loans could be crazy. Um, Because my student aid, like the federal aid, I don't even remember what they're called. I didn't get enough of it, and it was just my whole head space was in survival mode. I just thought, how can I make money now just so I can make sure that I have gas money, I can pay for rent, and I can make it through college because I knew my parents couldn't handle it at the time. Like, um, we just had enough. I don't want to say we didn't have anything, but we just had enough, but it never seemed like it was like it didn't feel like we were getting ahead. And I feel like a lot of people could relate to that. And years into the future, I appreciate how far my family has come. I think we've all individually worked on our own mindsets, our own mental health, and it's not like we pushed each other to do it. I think more so we saw progress in each other, and then it motivated us to keep going at it. And we have our own individual wins with our mental health. And I think that's something that's just one of the biggest things I'm grateful for. And again, when you're feeling more fulfilled, which you can really practice through any spiritual work or meditation and just really detaching yourself from trying to control the outcome of everything, you just feel more grateful. You realize there's a lot that you have, everything will be all right, even if it doesn't feel okay in the moment, because everything is fixable. And if it's not fixable, I do firmly believe that you will have something better. Like, who knew that these mushrooms have that meaning? I've never. I'm just making these mushrooms, okay? Because I think they're cute. Don't get it twisted. But yeah, I'm curious. Like, it'd be cool to see what others have worked on with their mental health in the past year. Like, have you been meditating more? Have you been working out? Have you, like, one of the things that I did too is have a better relationship with my food because I definitely had patterns of disordered eating being in the fitness industry and also cultural, especially with like Filipinos and like Asian culture, it's very like they're very honest when it comes to commenting on your body. And it gets to you. And it's okay if it gets to you because I've definitely been labeled as sensitive before. And I am sensitive, okay? But I think it's good to work on mental toughness as well. And a friend of mine made a good point because there was a family member, I'm not going to name names, who kept commenting on how I got bigger and how I looked manly, because I carried more muscle than the other girls that they've seen, which is crazy because I look at myself now, I'm like, I feel small. But my friend told me, well, what did you expect? Like, if you were to go into well, I forget what animal it was a snake. Like, if you go into a field and you see a bunch of snakes, you go into that field expecting the snake to bite you. So why would you go into a situation with this family member expecting them to do something different other than biting figuratively? And I was like, that's so fair. Because the only thing I could control was my perspective and how I take it. It doesn't make it right that, they're commenting very degrading things about me. Like, I'm not excusing that behavior, but it helps me, and hopefully it helps you let go a little bit more when it comes to terrible comments that are unsolicited, because they're just operating from a place of what they're used to, and they probably don't think much of it. They're probably like, it's just another Tuesday. Meanwhile, you're like, I'm ugly, which is crazy. So I started thinking about making these mushrooms onto another topic because I just thought, I don't know, whenever I approach paintings, I just think of what's going to look cute. Like, whenever I get asked, what's the meaning? I'm like, I like oranges. I like what these mushrooms look like. That's pretty much it. Look at these. Look at these. Look at these. I'm going to bring these mushrooms into view some more. Yeah, I think some art, like, whenever I see art, like, more power to you, but whenever I see art that is described in such a deep way, I'm like, okay, that's cool. No, that's cool. Like, I'm not ragging on people who do that. But there's also nothing wrong with just having a superficial value to art of that looks really cool and I like looking at it. Like, I'm not gonna tell you and say, I'm not gonna lie to you and say, these mushrooms have a deeper meaning. No, they just look cool to me. That's why I made the oranges in the background. I don't know if you could see the oranges. They're over there. Oh, well, YouTube can't see. They're over there, TikTok, right there. And I just love the sculptural feel, and I like the repetitive patterns. I didn't realize how much I liked repetitive patterns until I looked at my wall. Everything is repeating. And maybe I've just had that in my head of patterns look cool, and also it is satisfying to see different combinations of how each little sculptural piece turns out. And it's cool to see that each of them have their own unique shapes and properties. They're just like us. Mushrooms, they're just like us. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 6, 8. I think I'm good with 8 mushrooms for tonight. Next. I don't know. Do I want to do this with you right now? I might just. I think I'm gonna assemble a canvas with these mushrooms on it. I'm gonna let this one dry. It's like a tray of food. I'm gonna let this one dry on the side. Let's do this. Let's do it. I have all this green paint. And my last canvas, this one in the back. That one, I used a piping tip that had multiple holes in it, and it was kind of tough to pipe out because the holes where the paint was coming out of, because it's acrylic, it's air activated, it dries really quickly. And I think because it was such a small exit with all the tiny holes, it just dried up so fast. So every time I'd squeeze it out, it's like only teeny, like one little string would come out of paint when I wanted it to be like 5 strings. So I'm gonna experiment. Let's just treat this as an experiment, okay? I'm experimenting live with you guys right now, and it's kind of making me nervous, but it's okay. We will get through this. I think I'll use, so it's non-committal. I'm gonna use a tinier canvas like this. I use a tiny canvas. And instead of using a piping tip, I think I'll poke little holes into it, into the bag, so that it can create like tiny holes when it squeezes out from the top. So I'm gonna try, so it's a more uniform tip or more uniform holes. I'm gonna poke it with the needle with my protractor. Or with my compass. Protractor? Compass. So I'm going to poke here. I'm just taking the point and I'm poking holes at the top. This is freaking me out. Okay, I'm just going to poke holes at the top so that they have an exit point. So when I squeeze it out, I'm going to see how it squeezes out. Do you see this? It's so tiny. Okay, let me try this. It's okay, see? It's kind of it's kind of freaking me out, but it's not registering well on the camera. Oh, okay. It's coming out. This is gonna gross some people out. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when cysts get popped in those pimple popping videos. Like, look at the steady stream coming out right now. Look at it. Look at it. Okay, so I think I need to poke bigger holes into my piping bag. And that's okay. I'll just poke. Oh my God, I just poked the canvas. That's what happens when you're not thinking straight. Hi, Jackie. My client's dog is here. Okay, it's like, it's coming out like more, you know what it reminds me of? It just reminds me of dessert. And I'm kind of into it. But I don't like how it's not uniform. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cover it with a base. Just so when I apply, this is what I did with the other canvas. So that when I apply the grassy structure of the whole canvas, it doesn't peek through, like no white peeks through because I've covered it all. So yes, it's finger painting at this point, and that's fine. Art is subjective. So I'm just covering as many white as possible so that when I apply the rest of this, maybe I don't want, oh my God, maybe I don't want fluffy grass this time. Or maybe I do. Maybe I do. I'm just trying to get out of this. Okay. Cover the sides. This is why gloves are good. Wiping the sides. I'm just covering everything with green. And I think, you know what? Maybe I will use that piping tip. No, I can't. It's dirty. I cannot. I mean, I can, but I may not. That just reminds me of like when you're in school and you ask the teacher, "Can I go to the bathroom?" They're like, "Can you?" You ask, you may, and they're all sarcastic. I'm like, you know what I mean? That's what I did not miss about school. There's so many sassy teachers out there who should not be teaching. Like, they just straight up make some kids feel bad. And I was a good kid, okay? I was not a troublemaker. Like, I was low-key jealous of the troublemakers because I was like, wow, you have nothing to lose. Like, you really don't care. Like, you don't care at all. And I admired that. This is what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to take my X-Acto knife. I'm going to slice a bit from the top. I'm going to slice the top. So I have a little tip that I could work with. This goes against everything I was saying earlier. I was like, I don't like it when I don't use a piping tip. And I'm just going to make a ton of grass. Or maybe I'll make swirls. I don't know what I'm doing at this point. I want to make a bed. Who knows? You know what? It's good for you to see this because everything that I post up is the manicured version. Like, you don't see all the experimentation. Like, this looks crazy right now. Yeah, because I usually post up everything that's been perfected. I'm not into this. Everything that's been perfected, and I'm confident about it. But this one, I'm not. Right now, I'm thinking, what am I thinking? What is the matter with you? What if I use, oh my gosh, what if it's like a dessert? What if it's like a grassy dessert? What if I use a piping tip? I'm gonna use a piping tip. I will use a piping tip. So I'll use this piping tip. Make it look more like a dessert. Like a dessert background. More patterned. So there are swirlies all around it. Use my X-Acto knife. Slice this part off. Boom. And then I'm going to squeeze whatever's in this bag into here. Gotta open this bag up more. Let's just hope. Let's just hope, okay? Let's hope this turns out cute. All right, before I move forward, it's kind of satisfying. I'm just gonna have a clean slate of green. Okay, now we're good. Gonna do a practice strip. Okay, okay. I'm kind of digging this. I'm gonna do like an irregular mush of green. Okay. It's different from my other piece, but it's still working. Okay. Oh. And I'm going to fill out the sides. Maybe later. It's not complete because I don't want to take up too much time trying to show everything, but I'm going to lay some mushrooms out on this. So I'm thinking about 5. Okay, this is a 10 by 10. The other one's 20 by 20, so it's 100 square inches versus 400 square inches, so it's 4 times smaller. So I think I'll do 5. Okay, 4 times. So probably 6 mushrooms, 5 or 6 mushrooms. So I'm going to attach one of my mushrooms on. Okay, before I put this on, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. And I think I'll fill up the whole. Like, this looks crazy right now with this lighting, but kind of like the texture. So I think I'll use that piping tip. Okay. I think this mushroom, I think I'll place it. It's the prettier side of the mushroom. Like this. Ah! Okay. 1. 1 out of 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2. Damn. You know what? I'm going to do this with you guys here. I'm just going to do it. I don't care. I don't care if my hands get dirty. I don't care. I'm going to get rid of this paint. And I have this whole tub of green, of thick green paint that I mixed. Hi, Jackie. You want to come over here? Come here. Show the world. So I'm going to open up this big tub. And I got this pail from Home Depot, and I just mixed up my own thick green paint. Because I want to finish this project with you guys here. So this is what I do. I'm going to fill up this piping bag with this green. I'm going to wash my hands later. Gotta take off my wedding ring. She married. She married now. It's crazy to think that I was not even married this time last year. I was freshly engaged. Me and my husband have been together for a total of almost 9 years. I always joke to him, "You stole my 20s. I'll never get it back." Okay. Make sure to cover up this paint because, again, it's acrylic, and acrylic is air activated, and you don't want it to dry out. Ugh. I'm trying to close it. Okay. Oh. So I got all this in the piping bag, and I'm pushing it down, and I'm just going to create a thick bed of crazy looking grass. There's no rhyme or reason to how I'm doing this. I'm just trying to see what looks good. Probably going to overlap like that. Like, that looks cool. I don't know. It looks cool. Again, doesn't have a deeper meaning to it. I don't think art has to be a deep meaning. I think what's cool is seeing how things were inspired. And when I was doing this, I was just inspired by, I don't know, grass. How cute mushrooms are. Super Mario Brothers. And then I made it. Because I thought it looked cool. Is that so wrong? Can't art just be like that sometimes? I mean, I'm all about the deeper meaning art too. Okay, I gotta fill up this bag a little bit more. Oh! It's always an act of faith. Like what I was saying earlier. But it's always an act of faith whenever I have to fill up this piping bag full of paint. Okay, more paint. More paint. Gotta mix up some more green paint. If I want to make more of these pieces. Okay, I think that's enough. All right. Cover it up. Finish this out. Oh, hell no. Oh! Okay, I want to get the sides. I think I'll get the sides. Kind of like the look of it hanging off the edge like that. I feel like I'm icing a cake. Ah! I know this seems like a lot of paint. It is. But it's not like the super expensive acrylics that you'd normally use to paint. Like to paint like flat paintings with. Like this looks so cool. It just looks like cake. Okay. My hands look crazy. Let me just wipe this down. Okay. So I want 5 total mushrooms on this, or maybe 6. 4? 25 divided by 4. It's 6. It's at least 6. Okay. Then let's go for, I like this mushroom. Kind of want it facing this way. Oop. 2. I want a thick one. Look at this thick one. 1, 2. 3. Pointing up, perhaps. Kind of like this side of the mushroom. 3. Okay. This one looks crazy. I'm gonna get this one. Look how crazy this one looks. I don't know. They all look crazy. And I'll put this one over. I kind of want to scoot this one to the side. This feels so risky. Okay, 2, 3. Trying to figure out the composition. 4. Okay, sideways like this. 4. All right. 5, 6. 5. 5. Okay. Probably a really big one to even out. I don't know. I feel like I want to fill this up more. 6. Okay. This is my bed of mushrooms. Kind of want to. I'm going to move this one. Ah! This makes me so nervous. Moving it makes me so nervous. Moving this. Hey, Jackie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. There you go. There you have it. Here's my bed of mushrooms. Remember to drink some water. Cool. That's actually a really good reminder because I need to drink water, but okay, I'm done. I said bye to you too.